What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm gonna be looking at the Hook and Long Haul 2-pack. Now, if you're a fan of this channel or just watch my videos on the regular, you probably see me review the first two of the Constructicons that are out, Scrapper and Bone Crusher. And if you want to go check out that review to see how they transform and work, I would recommend it. But, yeah, we have the other two that came out this month, and I'm going to be reviewing them for you today. Now, you're probably wondering, are they in the box, or where are they? Right there. Okay, so this is everything that the pack offers, including the box. These are the other two boxes, you know. But we have a bunch of accessories for them and all the pieces that are needed to combine them together. And also, these are the body dudes, so we'll finally be able to combine them, and I'll show you how to combine them later in this video. But we're going to look at the accessories and the trailer before we get into the figures. So let's get these guys out of here and start on the accessories. We're going to start with their weapons first. We have Long Haul's gun. We have a Long Haul's gun, and it actually comes in two pieces. I don't know why, but you know, just attach those pieces. They also have to be connected in a certain way. There's like a little notch in there that lines up with that, so you can't put it in anything else or like have someone hold it. The other's Long Haul's gun, and then we have Hook's gun. Pretty nice. You can also put it on his crane. It's a little peg right there. There's a little hole right there. Just stick it on, and then you could just stick this on Long Haul where there's a peg. You can also stick it on the other side, but they don't have a peg on the other side, so it's gonna be backwards. And speaking of the crane, we can move this up and down, bring this out, and then, you know, bring out the crane. If you take this out and then bring down the crane, you get more motion. But yeah, you can disconnect it from him. And next we have some of the combiner pieces that they've kind of, you know, hidden to make, you know, look like their equipment. These are the two hand pieces for left and right. You just pull out the hands and then, you know, flip them around. But yeah, they're like missile pods, and you can like pull out these little pegs so you can so any Constructicon member can just hold them. But yeah, you can use these somewhere else. Then we have the breastplate. It's in multiple pieces. You just like attach it as so. There you go. Then we have the connector points. Then we have somewhere to hold, so you can put like disconnect the front part of Long Haul's gun and then like connect it right there, and then you can have like a shield that they can hold. And then we have the entire trailer. This can attach to Long Haul's body, not his like in his like dump truck form, but you can actually put all the accessories on here. If you pull out the little thing, then you'll be able to put it in there. It fits in pretty snugly, so does the other one. You can also put the pieces, these ones right here, there's a little notch right there, and then there's the little hole. You can just like put that there. Same with the other side. You can get this out. So yeah, those are all the accessories you get. There is one thing that can't attach, and it's this. So that is a little annoying that you can't attach everything onto the vehicles and be safe and sound. But yeah, let's finally get into the two figures again in this. We're going to start with Long Haul. I'm also going to show you the transformation. So he can hold his gun pretty well, as you can see. I'm going to take that out for now. He's got some pretty good articulation. He has some weird leg one, because this is the port where you're supposed to, like, transform him with, but this is his actual knee joint. So you can give, like, 2 knee joints. I just use this one because, it's more convenient, but this is the actual one. He's got some good ankle tilt, full 360 elbows, and, arms working pretty good. It's on a ball joint, and then we have hands in and out because of the transformation. He has a full 360 head rotation, and you can also open up this part to show a little bit of greebling in there. And then he doesn't have any waist rotation because, he's the body piece and he has to be really sturdy. But yeah, he's pretty good. I think he is pretty bulky. He looks like the show. In the show, he's a little bit more slimmer, but I think in Devastation's model, he's a bit more bigger. These wheel pieces in the back really left people thinking that this wasn't going to be a good figure, but they're not in the way as much as people thought they were, and you can get them in pretty good poses. Like, I've gotten them in pretty good poses. I'll show a couple here, just so you can know. But yeah, let's get into his transformation here. So first you're going to want to open up this grill piece, make sure his head is straight, then make sure his feet are straight, and connect them together right here. See how they're connected? Make sure the second knee joint, the one that I used, is disconnected. Then pull this up, make sure this is still open, and then fold his head in, because if you try to fold in his head with that still in, it won't work. So yeah, fold that in. Then bring out this back piece, and then bring it up. And then we're almost there, don't worry. Bring this down, and then bring in the hand pieces too. You don't want those to be obstructing your view, and make sure the legs are like this, because if they aren't, then you're gonna have a little bit of trouble with the arms. Then peel them back, make sure they're disconnected right here, and then line up this hole right here. I don't know if you can see that, but there's like a little opening right there. Line it up with this and then connect it. Do the same thing on the other side, and then pull this back and make sure everything's connected. There you go, you have his it's not a bulldozer, moron. It's a freaking, you know what this is. It's a dump truck. You can't really dump the dump truck without, but it works pretty well. It works pretty well. You can also open this up and bring in the trailer from earlier. There's 2 little holes right there, and then connect them with the 2 little notches there, and then you'll have yourself a trailer that works pretty well. So yeah, that is long haul, and pretty good figure. Alright, next up is Hook. If you hear some weird noises, that's just the dryer going off. But this one's definitely my favorite out of all of them so far, next to Bone Crusher. He's got his gun here, he holds it pretty well. You can also put it on his arm right here, but you do have to tell this back to actually attach it. And he also has the giant hook he's named after. You can actually put that on his arm right here, too. And I think that's pretty cool. He's got pretty long arms, pretty normal articulation. You gotta pull these up if you want to get his head, like I said, his arms all the way up. His tires can't get stuck here, so you just gotta turn back and get him back in line. His feet are a little weird, because he actually has a car foot, next to his actual foot, but it's on the back of him. But you know, I'm fine with that. I actually kind of like this look for Hook a little bit better than his original design. I don't know, it's just more unique. I like that they're giving them their own look. Like you can tell them. He's in the weirdest pose ever. You can actually kind of tell them apart. You know who's who, and they don't have like the same body type. But you know, you gotta transform him here. So make sure his head is straight. Then bring in the arms, and then pull them up. But before you do that, make sure that notch is right there and it lines up with this. Pull that up and do it on the same arm, and then pull this backwards and pull these flaps down. If they're already down, then don't do anything. And then open up this part right here, and then bring back this over here. Make sure his leg right here is straight and doesn't move, or else you're not gonna have that good of a time. Then make sure it is straight as a board, and bring this down and then lock everything in. There's like a little notch right there. Just put that down. Do the same thing on the other side. Make sure to connect them, and it looks like this connects, but it actually doesn't. So just wanted to tell you that. And then attach the hook on there. This looks pretty good. I really like this mode for him. He looks really nice. You can't obviously see Devastator's head, but you can extend the hook, make him look great. Next to Long Haul, he looks fantabulous. He also looks pretty good with his fellow comrades. Yeah, that's everyone we have so far. But before we get into merging them all into one big old green man, let's look at this box. So we have this great art. Obviously it's not AI, you got like nothing. It looks really good. I'm happy that they didn't use any of that like garbage AI stuff. I don't know who this is. It might be Megatron, because they are looking at that direction. Also, it has like the usual steps of the guy, but who's it for who? Is that one for Hook? I don't know. But yeah, we got Hook and Long Haul down there. Flip it to this side, you got the same Devastator art. Flip it to this side, we have Hook and Long Haul moving through. And then we got the same box art, pretty similar style to these guys. But yeah, this is pretty good. I guess that answers that question right there. But yeah, this is a pretty good box. We got on top Transformers, the movie, Hook and Long Haul, and then all the gobbledygook down there. Yeah, pretty good box. I think it shows off what it wants pretty good. Is it like it kind of reminds me of the one scene where they're like getting bombed, and they're like, Devastator has to go back into his individual guys. But yeah, let's get into merging them all into Devastator. Alright. The first thing you're going to do is going to put them all in their vehicle modes, because it's a bit easier that way. Bring up this crane, bring up this piece right here, and then bring this down, because this is going to give them a good arch support. Then bring these pieces down, flip them around, and then lock them in. Same with this side, and then open this up. Put them aside for now, and then bring out the trailer. If you have anything on it, take that off. I'll use these for later. And then pull back this trailer part, bring it back right here until it looks like this. Just bring it back, and then bring this up, and then bring this little part down. Then you're going to want to bring down the leg pieces, You can pose them however you want. Bring down the little flaps, and then make sure this combiner joint is locked together, because if it's not, that's not going to work. Then prepare long haul. This one is definitely the most in-depth. And also make sure to remove every single one of their accessories before you begin. That includes Hook's crane. And I also want to say, when this is only going to be all of the guys we have so far, so when I get the Scavenger Mixmaster, I'm going to show you how to combine them with him. So, you know, if you want to see how they combine in the future, well, just go click on that video because it will probably be out. But we're going to convert him into his combiner mode. We're going to fold this back and then just keep it there, and then fold this down where it would be in robot mode. Then this is the most complicated part, so stay with me. Bring this out. Then you're going to want to rotate his arm till you see this little slot. You're going to want to slot that into the other side of the arm. And then, oh, hit the camera. There's a little slot right here, and then there's a little port right there. Make sure this is still attached, and attach it right there. Do the same thing with the other side. Then make sure his head is down, and then bring this down here. And then bring these pieces right here on both sides. There you go. And then we're going to prepare Hook next. Make sure the thing is removed. And then bring down his arms. And then just disconnect it right there. And then bring these together. There we go. Make sure it's all together. Then shift this over and open up this cab. Now this is the combiner joint for Scavenger, and he isn't released yet, so you don't need to pull this out. But you know, we're just gonna pull it out for the purposes of this review, and then pull this out. This one's for Bone Crusher. And then bring up the head, click that into place, flip it around, push this backwards, open up the head, and then push it back down. And then flip it around, make sure this is down, and then make sure this is up. Then you're going to want to pull this tab right here, and then he should look like this on the bottom and like this on the front. Set him aside again. Then Bone Crusher is the simplest. Just break out his legs until you can access his arm. Make sure it's like this. Then connect them together again. Make sure you bring out this thing on this side, and then this right here, and then there you go. Now we're going to combine them all into Devastator. Then, alright, so you're gonna want to bring this right here, and then just slot it in until you can't no more, and then bring this up and slot this into the remaining space, and then there you go. Foot, like I said, pretty good stability, but we'll talk about that in a minute. He's breaking my camera already. Then we're going to want to attach a long haul here. Make sure you start from the back. I'm going to and then make sure you start from the back, so you're able, make sure to accordion this out, and then start from the back, and then just go on from there. There you go. And then bring this around here, and then attach it to the little two notches right there. He's starting to get out of frame. Yeah, there we go. Alright, I brought my camera up so you could see a bit better, but if you try to stand him with Scrapper, then you will not be able to. We gotta wait for Mixmaster. But then we're going to want to plug in Hook. There's a little tab right there, and that should go with that little circle. Same with the tab right here and the little circle right here. Wait, did I say that square part was a circle? And then just attach them together. There we go. Make sure this tab right here is attached. Make sure Hook's arm is attached. And make sure this tab is attached. There you go. We have him done so far, but we have to get one of his arms on. This is getting tiring very, very quickly. Alright, just slot in his arm. Might have to brute force it a little bit, but yeah, there you go. Turn him around and then make sure this little thing right here is connected. Now he does look a little, I don't know, bland, but we're going to bring in some key features. We're going to bring in the missile pod to make sure this thing is plugged in, and then bring them out. Do the same thing with Scavenger's hand, but we don't have him, so useless, insolent, nothing. Then do what you did earlier. Just plug them in there. If you do feel a little bit of force, just like put it in from the side. It's not too hard. And then you're going to want to pull this piece down and connect it where the first notch is, if you can't see there. And then just attach like so. Come on. I said, I'm gonna do this off screen. I said attach like so. And then there you go. This will fall down, so you gotta, flip it in there. So I recommend putting your hand behind here to push it in. And I just pushed it out. And then the final part is to attach the handpiece. Make sure this notch right here is is lining up there, and then just attach it. And then there we go. We have our, make sure to attach the hook right here. There we go. We have ourselves the completed Devastator. So far, I'm gonna use the box as a little bit of a backrest. To an extent. And I'm using Bonecrusher's box as a support, and then using the Hook and Long Haul as back support. So yeah, you do need a couple other things for this guy to stand. And if you do want to have him have a second arm, then you can just buy another Bonecrusher. But I wouldn't really recommend that. I just kind of recommend you wait until Scavenger's out, because you'll just have 2 Bonecrushers then. Unless you're a freaking weirdo or something. And you can plug off Long Haul's legs and then use them as a peg leg. I don't know who pointed that out, but I gotta see who pointed that out. Thank you to this guy. I don't really know how to say your name, but thank you for pointing out you can just plug in a second arm and give him a peg leg to give him a half completed Devastator. So thank you to him. I'm gonna give him a shout out here, and I'll link his video in the description. But yeah, this is pretty good. I really like this figure. Although there is a big glaring problem. This back piece right here, this piece is only used for the trailer, so it's completely and utterly useless because it never appeared in the show, so it has no purpose of being there, and it's just ugly. So I don't know why they couldn't just leave the trailer behind and just had to, make it. But this is pretty good. I think it's pretty cool. By the way, if you try to plug in a second Bone Crusher arm, it won't actually plug into the right here and right here because it's reverse for Scavenger and it's reverse for Bone Crusher, so it fits the correct arm. And you cannot plug in a Scrapper because it has different joints. You can still use his knee, so you know. But yeah, this guy's pretty good articulation. Arms, full 360. Elbows, if you like turn it around to get more range. You have full 360 hand rotation, and then you got some fingers. You could also remove the hands so you can get some. So you can put some like drills in there for like a little devastation action. You can also bring out a hook, and have him hold it. So you know. He can also hold the Devastator gun. Let me attach this real quick to him. I have it in 2 pieces here. You make it 1 piece. Mine is a little bit loose, so you know. But yeah, you can attach the gun. He has a waist and full 360 head rotation, up and a little bit down. But you will have to, you know, disconnect his head. I already talked about the waist, but you have to bring up his skirts, bring up his legs, and then his knees. And then he has the hip cock, or the, you know, knee, or not knee, the, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. But a pretty good figure. I do recommend, if you are getting this guy, I recommend them. Because, well, if you're trying to collect Devastator, you need them. But I definitely recommend him because the Combiner Wars one is complete and utter garbage. Well, it's not complete and utter garbage. But, you know, there are some stinkers in there. Long haul. But, you know, this guy's pretty good. I recommend him. And here's all their guns. But yeah, these guys have been a little bit scarce over the couple of days. It was pretty easy to find these guys. They were stocked around everywhere. I was able to find him during Easter, and then I got Bone Crusher. You good? I got Bone Crusher, and then I got them as reward for being good. It was the last one. Got it for like $3 discount. I've seen them on eBay for selling like $200, man. It is tough out here. But yeah, that's kind of it to this. But you know, this is Gun So I Don't Get YouTube Kids.